Now, that whole situation was diabolical, and it had a trajectory into the direction the season was going to go. Now, with that being said, we know that there has been a lot of growing and a lot of people saying that this civil rights little lawsuit thing, that's when none other than my favorite right now on the team, Sophie Cunningham, put the beats and feet and elbows all over who? Lacey Sheldon. But before we get into any of that, we got to talk about this Marina Marbury situation. So Marina Mayberry, y'all be killing me when John, you be messing up on her name.
Did Jacy Sheldon just try to play tough against the wrong player? What started as a simple foul on Caitlin Clark turned into one of the most talked about moments of the WNBA season. Sophie Cunningham didn't just answer, she flipped the entire script. She exposed Sheldon's dirty hit in front of everyone, and the crowd instantly knew who was in control. But here's the catch. It wasn't about the foul itself, it was about the psychological game Sophie played. And once you see how, you'll understand why this is being called her breakout moment.
Sophie Cunningham, 15 points for Sophie Cunningham, 3 for 4 from the three-point line. Sophie Cunningham has been hot to trot. Sophie Cunningham has been on fire. You ever play NBA Jam? She's on fire. She had a rough start to the season, but as of late, Sophie Cunningham, yeah, she's deserving of that starting spot, right? She's been deserving of that starter. Sophie Cunningham has been on fire these last few games. Heading into the break, coming out of the break, Sophie Cunningham has proven to us she's shooting. I am fairly confident that that ball is going to go in.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
Caitlin Clark's civil rights possible lawsuit is heating up. We're getting reactions from WNBA players. One being Marina Marbury. Now, she pretty much instilled into the rest of the league, hey, you know what? It's a green light and still attacking Caitlin Clark. Y'all can get away with it for now. At least she thought that was the case. And then we ultimately know, Marina Marbury had a situation with Caitlin Clark in which she shoved her to the ground and it made national news. Hence, part of the reason why I believe Caitlin Clark got hurt early on.
So here's the thing. Fouls happen every single game. Players get bumped, shoved, and knocked off balance all the time. But what makes Sophie Cunningham's reaction pop out from the noise is how she handled a messy moment like it was nothing more than a stage setup just for her. Instead of going head-to-head with the kind of raw fire we usually see in those confrontations, she managed to tilt the energy so completely that the whole exchange ended with her in control. That's not normal in the league, and it's why fans are still replaying it and talking about it after the final whistle. Now let's rewind to what actually started it. Caitlin Clark was moving off the ball, everyone's eyes already watching her because of how much attention she draws, when Jacy Sheldon threw in a foul that instantly looked off. It wasn't just physical, it had that extra force that crossed a line.
Clark muscling away.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mayberry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mayberry is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it.
We'll have another jump ball.
Both Jacy Sheldon and Caitlin Clark are talking to the official. They're both going at it, saying, hey, oh, there's a little extra right there. Uh-oh.
In the category of suspension worthy. I mean, there's just nothing basketball about it.
No.
Wow, is Mayberry going to stay in this game?
You could see it right away. It wasn't positioned like a player just trying to cut the lane off or stop momentum. It read like someone wanting to make a statement with their body instead of the basketball. The way Clark lost her balance, the crowd gasped, and that was the sign. Every fan watching knew this wasn't one of those take the foul kind of plays. It was personal, and that's why the cameras didn't cut away. And for a split second, Sheldon sold the role. She squared her shoulders, gave that locked-in stare, and acted like she was willing to go deeper if anyone wanted to step up. Her stance was wide, her arms tense, almost daring someone else to challenge what she just did.
Yeah, I think no question this will get upgraded.
Yeah, no question.
Two arms above the shoulders.
Mabry. That's a flagrant foul. It's a hard foul. You could say it's a play on the ball, but
It wasn't sloppy intimidation. At first glance, it looked real, like maybe she had just shifted the entire energy of the game in her favor. You could even see Clark herself checking the ref like, did you really just miss that? And in that pause, it almost felt like Sheldon's move had stuck. But then Sophie Cunningham walked into the frame and the vibe changed instantly. Here's where it gets wild. Sophie didn't storm in. She didn't try to match aggression with more aggression. She walked in almost casually, like she'd been waiting for this exact opportunity. There was no yelling, no dramatic pushback. Instead, she tilted her head, gave this almost amused look, and threw in just enough of a verbal sting that Sheldon suddenly seemed like she was trying too hard. You ever see someone clap back so cleanly that the other person instantly looks weaker? That's what happened here. Sophie used almost no energy, but every eye in the building flipped to her side. That's the trick of psychological dominance. When one player is spiraling with anger or trying to establish fear, and the other just stands there calm, cracking a smile, it makes the first player look ridiculous. You can embarrass someone way more by being unshakable than by screaming back. Sophie showed how powerful that balance is because every second Sheldon pushed forward with her tough act, Sophie's calm clapback made it crumble piece by piece. It's the same dynamic as a comedian on stage. Picture it. A heckler throws out a loud insult, trying to steal attention from the mic. The comedian barely blinks and whispers a single line that flips the joke back on the heckler. The crowd erupts in laughter, and suddenly the person yelling isn't scary anymore. They're exposed. That was Sophie in this game. Sheldon wanted control, but Cunningham stole it with humor and ice-cold confidence. And the thing is, Sophie wasn't just standing up for Caitlin Clark here. That's the surface narrative. But underneath it, she was writing her own brand into the league. This was her moment to tell fans without saying it outright, you don't mess with me or my team. That's how stars are built, not with box scores alone, but with storylines. By the time that back and forth was done, Sheldon wasn't the one remembered for the foul. Sophie was the name trending, the face being clipped and replayed. The player fans called the new enforcer of the league. It was less about the hit and more about how the response flipped an entire script. And that's why this clash didn't end on the hardwood. It spilled into conversations, memes, and highlight reels, turning into fuel that keeps the WNBA buzzing long after the final score faded. This moment wasn't about how many points were scored or who had the best shooting percentage. It was about showing that personality can flip a career on its head. Sophie Cunningham took a foul and turned it into a storyline. And that's what fans remember more than any number on the stat sheet. The WNBA is growing on rivalries, on little flashes of attitude, on the kind of viral energy that spills out of the arena. Sophie just proved she can carry that. And if this was only her opening act, the real question is simple. Who's daring enough to step up next?